So this is the continuation of the chapter 6, item and validation. Topic is all about index of discrimination and index of difficulty. Analyzing test items using index discrimination and the index of difficulty to determine their quality and usefulness. So, ang index of discriminations ay minimeasure niya kung gaano ba ka-effective ang isang test item, and dinidifferentiate din niya ang upper group of the students, which is 25%, and the lower group of the students na 25%. So, ang example na nasa book ay obtain the index of discrimination of an item if the upper 25% of the class had a difficulty index of 0.60. 60% of the upper 25% got the correct answer, while the lower 24% of the class had a difficult index of 0.20. So, ang formula ng index of discrimination is D is equals to DU minus DL. DU is proportion of correct answer from the upper 25%, and DL is for proportion of correct answers from the lower 25%. Ang given data is DU is equals to 0.60 and DL is equals to 0.20. And this is the calculation. D is equals to 0.60 minus 0.20 is equals to 0.40 or 40%. So, more of the students in the upper group answered the question correctly. Ang 40% has a moderate discrimination. So, discrimination index is the difference in the percentage of the top scorers, the upper group, who answered an item correctly in the percentage of lower group who answered the item correctly. So, the range of the discrimination index from -1 to +1. The closer the index is to +1, the better the item can discriminate between the two groups, upper group and lower group. So, kapag mas malapit daw ang index or the total of the percentage sa +1 is mas discriminate ng mas maayos ang two groups, which is the upper group and the lower group. And a negative discrimination index means more lower group got the item correct than upper group, which means the item is not effective and should be discarded. So, ang negative discrimination index is kapag mas malapit sa -1, ang discrimination index means sa lower group mas marami ang kuha ng tamang sagot sa lower group kaysa sa higher group. So, sabi dito ay hindi daw yun effective. So, kailangang alisin yung item na yun sa, for example, sa multiple choice. Next is and this is the rule of thumb. Index range the -1 to -0.50. The interpretation of this is can discriminate but item is questionable. So, the action is discard. And the index of range of -0.55 to 0.45 is the non-discriminating, or the action should be revised. So, and the next is 0.46 to 1.0, or the +1, discriminating item, and the action should be included. So, this is the example. Consider a multiple choice type of test of which the following data were obtained. So, the item is 1. Options. The option A has a 0 total, 0 upper 25%, and a 0 lower 25%. And the option B is the total of 40 students, and the upper 25% got the 15 correct answer, and in the lower 25% got the 5 5 students got the item correct. So, in the option C is the total of 20 and the upper 25% got the 5. The lower 25% is 10. And the next option is the total of 20 students and the upper 25% got the 0 and the lower 25% got a 5. And the correct response is the option B. So let us compute the difficulty index and index of discrimination. Difficulty index is equals to number of students getting correct response divided by the total. So ito yung binigay na example kanina, and ang 40 dito ay yung mga students na nakakuha ng tamang sagot, and nade-divide siya sa total na nag-take ng item na yun, which is 100. So 40 divided by 100 is equals to 40 or 40% within the range of a good item. So yung 40% na yun is yung nakuhang total doon is a good item. So next is the discrimination index. DU is equals to number of students in upper 25% with correct response divided by number of students in the upper 25%. So, number of students in upper 25% with correct response is 15 students, and the number of students in the upper 25% is a 20. So, 15 divided by 20 is equals to 0.75 or 75%. And DL naman, number of students in lower 25% with correct response divided by number of students in the lower 25%. So, 5 is the number of the students lower 25% with correct response. So, ang students lang na nakakuha ng correct answer or correct response is 5 lang sa lower group. And ang total ng students na nag-take ng item na yun is 20 students. So, 5 divided by 20 is equals to 0.25 or 25%. So, the discrimination index is equals to DU minus DL. So, DU, earlier, equal ng DU is 0.75 or 75%. So, DU is equals to 75 minus DL is equals to 0.25 dahil ang equal ng DL earlier is 0.25 or 25%. So, 0.75 or 75% minus 0.25 or 25% is equals to 0.50 or 50%. We got the total of a 50%, thus the item also had a good discrimination. So the item has a good discriminating power, or has a good discrimination. So earlier, meron akong pinakitang option A, B, C, and D. So in destructor A, destructor A is not an effective destructor because it never selected by the students, and the destructor C and D appear to have a good appeal as destructors. They plausible destructors. They are a plausible destructors. So, ang sa option C and D is mas kwento or mas nilagay nila doon yung kung ilan ba yung namali ng mga upper group and lower group. At ang pinakang correct na option doon is like what I said earlier, ang tamang ginawa doon is ang option B. Next is the index of difficulty, which has a formula of P is equals to RU plus RL divided by the T or the total times 100. So where RU, the number in the upper group who answered the item correctly, and the RL, the number in the lower group who answered the item correctly. T is the total number who tried the item. And and the next one is the formula of index of item discriminating power. D is equals to RU. I think nagkaroon siguro dito ng error. It's not a addition. I think is a subtraction. The RU minus RL divided by 1/2 ng total. Where P is percentage who answered the item correctly, index of difficulty, R the number of who answered the item correctly, and T is the total number who tried the item. So P is equals to 8 divided by 20 times 100 is equals to 40%. I think ang example na ito na 8 divided by 20 times 100 is equals to 40%. Ang example na ito ay sa ang ginamit na formula is index of difficulty, which is the, I think nagkaroon din dito ng error because the number in the upper group, ang binigay siguro dito ang example is the number of the upper group who answered the item correctly is the number 6 plus 2, which is the number in the lower group who answered the item correctly, divided by 20 times 100. So 8 plus 2 is equals to 10 divided by the total of the number who tried the item, which is 20. So 6 plus 2 is equals to 10, and 10 divided by 20 is equals to 0.40 or 0.40 times 100 is equals to 40%. Napansin ko lang na parang medyo iba yung nasa book. Siguro nagkaroon lang ng error while ginagawa itong book. Kaya pati ako medyo nalito rin. Then the next one, so the smaller the percentage figure, the more difficult the item. Kapag mababa ang total, ang naging total natin sa pag-compute, it means na sobrang hirap ng item na ibinigay. This is estimate the item discriminating power using the formula below. So ito na yung tamang computation, and mali naman yung ilagay kaninang formula na kinuha ko lang din sa book. I think na magkaroon lang ng error kasi ang ginamit dito, ang ginamit na formula is index of item discriminating power, which is subtraction pala siya and not addition. So D is equals to RU, the number in the upper group who answered the item correctly, which is 6 minus 2, the RL, the number in the lower group who answered the item correctly, and divided by the 1/2 of the total. So is equals to, 6 minus 2 divided by 10, 6 minus 2 is equals to 4 divided by 10 is equals to 0.40 or 40%. So ang discriminating power daw ay ang discriminating power of an item is reported as a decimal fraction daw. Maximum of a discriminating power is indicated by an index of positive 1 or 1.00. So the maximum discrimination is usually found at the 50% level of difficulty, which is 0.00 to 0.20 is very difficult. The 0.21 to 0.80 is moderately difficult, and the 8.81 to positive 1 is very easy. So ang total score na nakuha natin kanina is 40%, which is nakasama siya sa moderately difficult. So ang item na in-example dito ay ang in-example dito multiple choice ay moderately difficult lamang. I hope you understand something in my report. Thank you. And the next reporter is Jemarie Castillo.